Halito Chimachukma, this is Chief Steve coming at y'all with another episode of True Story. We got a really interesting one for you guys today, but before we get into it, make sure you guys like and hype this video up, comment in the comment section, get really interactive, hit that subscribe button if you're new, and don't forget to hit that notification bell as well, so whenever I drop these bombs, you'll be the first ones to grab them. Now, without further ado, let's get into it.
This might give me some heat, and I don't really give a fuck, because I'm going to say it anyway. There's a lot of y'all on here that will talk about the effects of colonization and assimilation and how that's led to loss of culture, loss of language, and loss of connection to who you are as an indigenous person. But then y'all will be the first fucking ones to shit on people wanting to come back home, wanting to reconnect. There's a lot of y'all that are talking about Pretendianism, pertaining to Pretendians specifically within the black community, but y'all will not question the white presenting people within your circle claiming indigeneity without enrollment, without any ancestry, and without any proof. And then there's a lot of y'all that will say that it matters on who claims you, which is true, and then you'll emphasize that your nation claiming you is what gives you indigeneity. But then you will turn around and tell someone south of the border who they are and who they are not, when you're not even part of that nation. All of y'all are fucking ridiculous, and if the shoe fit, wear it.
My indigenous brothers and sisters, please stop arguing with those who lack color. We have bigger fish to fry. They are old news. Stop giving them the energy that they so desperately seek. Let them starve.
Man, get in here, get in here, get in here. When you thought you saw it all, you ain't seen nothing. Go and take a screenshot. Go ahead and take a screenshot. And then take a screenshot of this court case when the court system literally made these people's Native American. Literally, what they say, right? Peoples versus Hall classified Chinese peoples as Indians. Literally, did you see that? So now let's start back over. Chinese. Now look at this. He's from Siberia. Now his race is Indian. Census of the 1920s, right? Recently, 1920s. Now he's an Indian. And then this court case right here. And why it got to be 1866? Did you notice that? 1866? Sounds suspicious, right? But Chinese peoples as Indians? You saw it for yourself, right? Okay. The first of his kind, you seeing this. And Jesse Jackson came behind all of this to call us African American. He hate his own peoples and he hate his own race that bad to give these peoples our land that our ancestors left for us. All secrets shall be revealed. But if you'd like to donate $1, I greatly appreciate it.
She always believed that Black Americans were from Africa, but she was starting to question. I saw this African girl who was starting to question. She always believed that Black Americans were from Africa, but she was starting to question just by using reasoning and deduction and logic. And she said, well, out of all the stories our families told us in Africa, with all of the oral history there is, why has no one ever told the story about how it was when family members were stripped from them and placed on ships to the Americas? Then I likewise started to think, like with all of the oral history we have, and the last slave ship arrived in Americas in the 1830s. With all of the history we have, why has no one ever said, well, this is what my great-great-grandmother told me. It was like taking that voyage over the water for 2 months, 3 months. This is what we all experience. No one talks about that voyage from Africa. And that's something that should have been told or passed down. Like somebody should have had, that recollection. That should have been across more. There should have been more of a consensus of what happened. They do talk about slavery. I spoke to my uncle the other day, and he definitely talked about the Trail of Tears. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What y'all think?
There were over 700,000 free blacks. It wasn't just slaves that were here in the U.S. Over time. During slavery, there were 700,000 free blacks.
Operating at many different levels. The myth of absence really is not, nobody's mad at us. They just omit us.
Right.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
So when they stole our identity, mispronounced it as Choctaw, they would come back into Lacombe, see our ways of living, and then they would mimic this back in Oklahoma. We have to ask, as historians, who signed the Dancing Rabbit Treaty and some of the other treaties? Research their name and see if the people that's in Oklahoma, I'm finna get real controversy. Let's see if there's really Native Americans that your tax money is paying for today, no matter what color you are. I said, if the government want to really know who been ripping them off, check out and see who's inside that pudding. Because what's in the pudding sure ain't chocolate.
If you look at some of the reservations that you've approved, you, sir, in your great wisdom have approved, I will tell you right now, they don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like the Indians. Now, maybe we say politically correct or not politically correct. They don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like Indians to Indians, and a lot of people are laughing at it, and you're telling how tough it is, how rough it is to get approved. Well, you go up to Connecticut, and you look. Now, they don't look like Indians to me, sir.
Some indigenous peoples used bear grease and hot tools to straighten and style their hair. Which class of people uses this form of hair care?
According to Cornell University, over 80 federally recognized tribes across the U.S. have gone through disenrollment. And in the past 2 decades, some estimate at least 11,000 individuals have been exiled from their tribes, including the Nooksack in Whatcom County, which in March kicked out its last disenrolled member from its land, 306 people in total. Jamie Queen, who was also disenrolled from the Squaxin tribe, worries most about vulnerable tribal members.
Elders are getting cut off their income checks. They're getting cut off the treaty rights. Some people lived off of that for their entire life. They no longer have that. So they're losing their housing, their medical, their income, their whole source of identity, because now they have to reinvent themselves and figure out who they are. If they told me today, you are now re-enrolled, I'm going to tell them to shove it up their ass. I don't want to be enrolled, but to make right for me, I want a letter for my son.
Queen says she wants her late son.
He was a good kid, wasn't a...
We are learning law together, and now we have broken holes in their entire story about us having African descent. The Dred Scott case does not prove that, because you don't have the scientific proof to back that. You don't know his parents, so how do you know his genealogy? That's crazy, and there was no DNA testing. Now, we know that the DNA testing that are provided in our modern day society are bullshit, because they told us that straight to our face. They said we're using the genetic legacy of oppressors, not the indigenous people who make up the genetic markers. And we know the United States Census is bullshit because it contradicts the 14th Amendment. So how are we from Africa if you have no proof of that? My favorite thing to do to win a case is you ask the people. So when you said that we were the ancient Berber people in 1740, were you lying then? Or are you lying now when you say that we're from West Africa? And that's how you prove that a liar is a fucking liar. And if a whole country is lying, it might be time for somebody else to go ahead and run it. Another story with holes broken into it is the slave trade database that they put at Harvard that said only 200,000 people came on the slave trade database, and that included cooks and ship crew and all of that. So the story doesn't work. Time for a new one. How about the truth?
Europeans need to go home. Enough of the 500-year masquerade, where a group of frost-bitten cave dwellers crawled out of their wet, sunless continent, trespassed on every shore, planted their pale flag like a mildew stain, and decided that the rest of the planet was theirs to rearrange. You are standing in the living room of civilizations you didn't build. Every cobblestone, every brick, every river, every tree, and every blade of grass in these lands is whispering the same thing. It's time to go home. Go home to your unfinished history. The one you fled because you couldn't fix it, so you decided to vandalize everyone else's instead. Go home to your famines, to your civilization. It was looting with bad table manners. These lands reject you like a body rejecting a transplant. Your skin peels in the light. Your bones rot in the heat. Your soul dries out and cracks because everything you touch knows you're a foreigner. You are out of place here, and the planet is tired of hosting you. The age of squatting is over. 5 centuries of trespassing, of plundering, of whispering that you were necessary. You weren't. Go home, because the eviction notice isn't coming with paper and ink this time. It's coming in silence, in hunger, in storms.
Very, very few black slaves were brought over from Africa to America. The black people, the Washita people, for example, down there in the Louisiana area, they were there since time immemorial. The Moroccan or black African Americans, they are the originals, along with the other indigenous Indian bloodlines, okay? So these people had known all along that the indigenous people were God-fearing people and good people, but they created, as we will see, papal bulls to diminish their status to the status of animal so that they could murder them, okay? New York was already there for thousands of years. San Francisco was there for thousands of years. Los Angeles was there for thousands of years. They were built by the indigenous people who were black and Indians as well.
Whoa.
The black people, they weren't brought over by slaves. They are the original owners of America. Black people, African Americans. They don't come from Africa. They were already here, and they plagued them out. And they stole the Smithsonian Institute, which is Jesuit controlled, stole their knowledge, stole their history, and now we're just left wondering who we are, where we come from, where we're going. We don't know anything.
Wow.
Because they did a catastrophe on this earth just only a few hundred years ago. The Europeans didn't come here to Mexico to build buildings. They came here to steal the buildings and the gold. They were already here. Everything in Mexico, everything in Guadalajara, everything in Cancun was already there for thousands of years, and the Europeans just came over and did a corporate takeover with plagues and catastrophes, and then they just put their flags here and said, well, it's ours now.
This, to me, finding this here was just like, why would they put it in the most prominent hotel at the top of San Francisco? And if you keep going down, I don't know if you saved it or not, but I show the Mark Hopkins Hotel, but here's the black women. I mean, here's the women that were running the country and ruling over. And you see in the background all the birds and fecundity that were flying in harmony and peace. So this is something that's just, why do they have this in the hotel? Why are they making it so significant? These paintings were commissioned back in the 1920s by a very famous artist. I forget his name. And Juniper Serra comes in and they got that big statue on 101, you see, with them pointing across to the lands. So that was all part of the conquest, because they were the Catholics were sponsored by Queen Isabella to come to conquer the lands. And when they found all the gold and they found all the natives and they found all the fecundity, they just raped it, and they just conquered it. And then they papered over the history of all these people, but they kept it in memory in these paintings and stuff. And this is them bringing the cross. And so all of them were brought into the missions, and I cover it, Mission Santa Fe and these other missions, and they were converted and they were baptized, and then they were buried without markers. Oh, they just came in and took the lands. You know why? Because these people were not violent. They never protected against war, because the island, if we can keep scrolling down to get into the island part of it, the island, or that's Whoopi Goldberg there in the picture. And then also the California seal is Queen Califia. They've changed it to Minerva, but originally it was Queen Califia. Keep going. I think I have a picture.
Wow. What's the vintage of this original Queen Califia seal?
That's not the original. Keep going. The next, I think it's in the, well, here's the Queen Califia. This was in the Sausalito. They did this huge pageantry celebrating her. And this was sponsored by the same people that did the Disney movie and whatnot.
Hey y'all, on our last video we only got 40 likes. As much as that's appreciated, I know we can do better than that, fam. It's not too late to be a star. Go ahead and like this video right now. Hype this video up as well. Also, don't forget to look for Chief Steve on Facebook and Instagram. Chief Steve on Facebook, chiefsteve.yt on Instagram. And y'all excuse me for that last video. My commentary was a little botched. I was in my feelings. A lot of truths, personal truths, recently came out during this blood moon season. If you follow me on Facebook, you would know that I've been dealing with the passing and transitioning of a matriarch, a big cousin in the family, who I consider more like an auntie. Unfortunately, I was unable to gather with my family in our time of grief due to circumstances extraordinarily out of my hands. I'm talking about canceled flights, yeah, a lot of stuff during this retrograde. And for that, if any of my family is watching, know that I cherish you all. My heart and soul, energy and light goes to you all in your time of sorrow. Bootsy, Bird, Bones, Headbone, Trail, Tracy, Lil Rick, I see you all. Tata Chista, I cherish you all.
Yeah. West Coast. From the Bay to LA, to the valley, to the town. We the first ones around. California Indians. Let's go. We the California Indians, riding on chrome. Dark copper skin, yeah, we back to the throne. From the Bay to LA. Everybody know that the black folks here were the first on this coast. We the OGs, baby, we the originals. Trade routes deep, yeah, our roots so spiritual. Generation strong, and we still standing. California Indians, this our land, man.
We are not the Pretendians. There's too much information out there to mistake us for Pretendians. Look up a Pretendian. See what you find. Go to Google and look up Pretendian and see who you see. Don't let people judge who you are. They have no authority to do so. We do not need to argue or prove a point to anyone, especially people who are not us. That includes other so-called people of color. We don't owe them or anyone else a damn thing. If anything, the world owes us an explanation as to why all of these different countries and governments, private institutions are working together to suppress the truth of who we are. The Jesse Jackson, African-American, Mother Africa era is over. Pan-Africanism is dead. The Out of Africa theory, debunked. We know who our mother is. And the truth is, everyone knows. The world knows who we are. People know we didn't come from no damn Africa. Even our own people know. What oral histories have you heard personally from your family talking about a slave voyage? Talking about a voyage from one land to the next, from home to a foreign land. What family member do you know has that story from an ancestor? Well, I personally have no stories from neither side of somebody coming from Africa or even being a slave at that point. I have stories of free people, farmers, laborers, craftsmen, warriors, military, educators, leaders, both spiritual and political, but not slaves. That was something told to us in a controlled setting by a person in a perceived position of authority, i.e. a teacher or professor. It was all a part of a system that believes that we will continue to let them do whatever and say whatever they want about us. But not in 2026. That's over and done with. As you can see, our brothers and sisters are not having it. Shout out to everyone who contributed to this content. The handles to their TikToks are underneath their videos, their respective clips. And they know. They know. Trump even said it himself. His ass even knows what an Indian looks like. And we don't need to join their little tribes to be recognized. We are strong enough and smart enough to start our own nation, to build our own nation. Our own nations. Everyone knows that. So don't get caught up in what a few haters say. Because when we step up as the true original people, as the true Amerindians, the true Aborigines of this land, and move accordingly, then and only then will the world begin to correct itself. See all the problems and things going on in the world right now. All of that will begin to naturally correct itself once we step into our true power. But it requires us to walk in truth, not being ashamed of who we are. And I know we can. Because don't get it twisted. We were always strong. We've been strong since the beginning. Hence why we're still here. When it came to the physical warfare and the fighting, we dominated. Which is why they had to kill us off by paper. Today, 2026, the pen is stronger than the sword. It's time that we take our power back. It's time that we take the pen in our hand. It's time to write our way out. And it's time to put signature to document names to faces. Legacy to lineage. Land to the original stewards. All right. We got more to come, family. Make sure you guys like this video. Hype it up. If y'all see that little hype option after you like, it says hype. Press that hype button. Hype it up. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Until then, this is Chief Steve signing off. Tata Chista, I cherish you all. And Yoko Ki, thank you for watching. We will see you next time.